Hello everyone, this is a Tech Whiz video. Today we're going to be covering part 1 of our NCAA Football 13 recruiting guide. This section deals with filling the recruiting board. Now, we're using EA Sports website for this. I realize most of us probably use the console to do recruiting, and that's fine. Really what we're trying to convey here are just some basic concepts to the way I do recruiting. And it seems to be pretty successful. I usually place in near the top of our recruiting in our online dynasty every year. So let's get started. Okay, the first thing, the most important thing that I always do, I always use an interest of top 10 schools, unless I have to go outside of that, but we'll get to that later. Okay, so top 10 interest. So I applied that filter. At this point, I'm only interested in people who have an interest in me of top 10 or better. And then for this example, I always approach my team needs first. I always get that out of the way, deal with my team needs. In this example, we're going to say I need one wide receiver, two middle linebackers, and one kicker. So let's get to it. Okay, so I said I need one wide receiver, so I'm going to click there. Now, basically, it's pretty simple. All I do is I take the best available wide receiver. I target that player. Okay, and you can see the rankings over here. So I would target this guy in that example, and I usually only do a 1-for-1. Now, there's a system that I'll get to in a minute that kind of covers how you hedge your bets so that you ensure you have a wide receiver, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, so I target this gentleman right here, 1-to-1, one wide receiver. Okay, then I said I need two middle linebackers, so let's switch over to middle linebackers. And I target the two best. Again, 1-to-1, so since I need two, I'm going to target two. So this guy and this guy. Okay, so those are my two middle linebackers. Now, I also said I needed one kicker, so I'm going to come over to kickers. Oh, what do you know? There are no kickers interested in my school with a top 10 interest or better. So what do? Well, I simply take off the interest level. And I have two options, really. I could select just the best kicker available, or if I want to give myself a little bit better chance of landing someone outside of my top 10 interest level, I could throw on the pipeline. And as most of us probably know, pipeline recruits, you get more recruiting points for them, so you have a better chance of landing them. And then just select the best available. So that would be this guy in that example. Okay, so I filled my recruiting board. I had four team needs. I addressed the four team needs. And so now I begin to address the rest of my recruiting board. There are 35 slots in the recruiting board, and I use every single one of those. So I end up targeting 35 recruits every year. Okay, so I'm going to select all, and I'm going to throw back on my top 10 interest. So now I'm looking at any player with a top 10 or better interest level in me, and here I just go down the board. This guy, this guy, this guy. Actually, I already added this guy, as you may remember. He's the top wide receiver. And so now we're getting to the point where I said how we kind of hedge our bets. Now, as you can see, the fourth player in my list here is another wide receiver. And so there's a good chance that as I go down this list, I'm going to add additional players that the same team need, and that's kind of how you hedge your bet. Because overall, you're going to end up with maybe 2 or 3 wide receivers by the time you fill out your recruiting board. And so again, I just go down this list until I have added 35 players. I just target all of these guys plus, fill it out till I have all 35. Now, one of the things that might keep me from doing that is if, let's say, I end up getting like 6 or 7 wide receivers, or maybe more than 5, I will at that point maybe start ignoring the wide receiver so I don't end up with too many wide receivers on my recruiting board. So that concludes part 1 of the recruiting guide. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments section. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you and have a great day.